بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم إذا الشمس كورت وإذا النجوم انكدرت وإذا الجبال سيرت وإذا العشار عطلت وإذا الوحوش حشرت وإذا البحار سجرت وإذا النفوس زوجت وإذا الموءودة سئلت بأي ذنب قتلت وإذا الصحف نشرت وإذا السماء كشطت وإذا الجحيم سعرت وإذا الجنة أزلفت علمت نفس ما أحضرت فلا أقسم بالخنس الجوار الكنس والليل إذا عسعس والصبح إذا تنفس إنه لقول رسول كريم ذي قوة عند ذي العرش مكين مطاع ثم أمين وما صاحبكم بمجنون ولقد رآه بالأفق المبين وما هو على الغيب بضنين وما هو بقول شيطان رجيم فأين تذهبون إن هو إلا ذكر للعالمين لمن شاء منكم أن يستقيم وما تشاءون إلا أن يشاء الله رب العالمين.
Hey, what's up? Happy Friday, everybody. What's going on? Juma Mubarak, Shalom, Shabbat. Happy Friday once again. We made it to another Friday. First order of business, let me know if you can hear me. Be all good on sound. Let me know. I don't have my external mics hooked up, so let me know if we good. Sound good. Sharita, what's good? Janine B in there. Reflecto Sessions, what's up, man? Okay, we good. Appreciate it. So everybody, click that thumbs up button for me. Do that for me, pretty please. Thumbs up for me. And cool. Yusuf Muhammad. Assalamu alaikum rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Yeah, man, we're gonna have a great conversation today. Nikki Love, what's up, man? Called Spiritual Family. Yeah, Spiritual Family. But of course we have to say Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Sallallahu ala ʿAlī, sallallahu ala Muḥammad. May the peace and blessings be upon an entire spiritual family. Yeah, because we're gonna get into that. We're gonna get into the spiritual family. For me, I think this conversation goes into, how we got a very nice series here on YouTube. I gotta see if we have we got a playlist that deals with the women in Islam, Black women in Islam. But maybe it's just called Women in Islam, which is pretty dope. It's a pretty dope playlist when we get into that particular playlist. This one here is kind of like the male balance, the male spiritual family, the balance to that female aspect we was dealing with. All right. So ladies, bear with me on this one. I think it's good. You know what I mean? And when we deal with the masculine principle, as we tie it into Islam, we're going to see what is the direction of faith when it comes to the Quran and Islam. And I think once we got that down, then we know the direction that we need to go, right? So I think that's important. I think that all Islam ain't the same. It's just a fact. It's not. And I think mainstream Islam, i.e. what we call Sunni Islam, think that they got it right. And the biggest thing, two biggest things, and this goes for even Sunni, Shia, and Sufi. Next month, which is coming up shortly, you will hear Ramadan talk. And it baffles me because what you are inadvertently saying is the way that we practice Ramadan today, the Prophet was absolutely 100% in error the way he practiced Ramadan, when he practiced Ramadan. And nobody makes that claim. And it's like, that's how dumb, I don't even want to sugarcoat it. That's how dumb we are, right? Where, for those who may know of the little bit of the history that says, well, wait a minute, the calendar didn't change until about 7 years after the Prophet's death. And when it changed, that allowed Ramadan to rotate 11 days earlier every year, which means next year to be in January, it'd be in, then eventually be in December and so forth. But when the Prophet was alive, Ramadan came at a fixed point of the year, meaning in the summer, beginning of fall in that pocket. Hence the name of the month is named after that particular month. You know what I mean? Named after that season, right? So it always came in a specific summer night. The night of power is a night of summer or early fall. So it's in that pocket right there. It's not in the winter. So then we would have to 100% say, your Ramadan, Mr. Prophet, is wrong. That is not when the Quran was revealed, night of power. That's not when the Quran was revealed. It was revealed over here. And then if it was revealed over here, then why are we changing it to January in about 2 years? And then eventually December. Like, what's going on here? So this is a gross error. And it does. I ain't gonna lie about it. It breaks my heart to see it in its totality. We go back to that farewell speech, and he says, beware, the unbelievers are tampering with the calendar. He tells you this in the farewell speech, like, hey, I know I'm dying. I know I am dying, but I want to give y'all some things. I want to give y'all a few rules here. Just get some things off my chest before I get up out of here. Treat your women well. Yeah. The calendar, hey, some unbelievers is messing with the calendar. It was some murders that took place. We're gonna wipe that clean and have a new slate, right? We want to get rid of that. You know what I mean? I want to set the record straight before I get up out of here. And that's heavy. That's heavy. And so to me, the failure to really follow him is a lack of love. It's a lack of love. Don't tell me no different. It's a lack of love. And the Quran calls it out. All right. All right. So let's talk about spiritual family. All right. Let's go to the Bible first, though. Ooh, because I'm making JC. The peace and blessings be upon Isa, Jesus. Ooh, Jesus, hit him. They said, someone tell Jesus his mother and brothers are outside. He asked, who are my mother and my brothers? And pointing to his followers says, here are my mother and my brothers. For whoever does the will of my Father in heaven is my brother and sister and mother. What? Yeah, that's Jesus. That's the big homie JC. It's like, who my mama and my brothers? Them? Let me tell y'all something. Y'all over here, we doing this work for God. You, my mother, my brother, and my sisters, we family. This is a spiritual family thing. Yes? Let's move on. Let's look at something with Ibrahim, just as Abraham. And Abraham prayed for his father's forgiveness only because of a promise he had made to him. But when it became clear to him that he was an enemy to Allah, he disassociated himself from him. For Abraham was most tenderhearted, forbearing. So here go Abraham, who's like, hold on, I love you, Dad, but I kind of something going on where you're an enemy to God, so I gotta disassociate myself with you. Because the big fella upstairs is really my real father. So you in violation. So, I get that I'm your son. I came from your loins, but I got to disassociate myself with you. Because the spiritual law is more important than the physical law. The physical law is supposed to resemble the spiritual law. Yes. So then we have what the Quran says. Will you not find a people who believe? You will not find a people who believe in Allah in the last day, loving those who oppose Allah and his messenger, even if they were their fathers, their sons, their brothers, or their kindred. Those he has written faith into their hearts and supported them with a spirit for him. 58:22. You won't find the people who believe in Allah in the last day, loving those who oppose Allah and his messenger. You can't love those who oppose Allah and the messenger, according to the Quran. And the Quran further backs that up 2 chapters later and say, oh, you who believe, do not take my enemies and your enemies as protecting friends, offering them love. This is in the Quran. This is in the Quran. Yeah. And see, what baffles me with these 2 scriptures right here, though, is could these scriptures be talking to Muslims today? And unbeknownst to us, you know what I mean? Like, how you know that the mainstream, and let's have a conversation real quick, right? When you hear people criticize Islam in its inception point and they call it bloody Islam and they got the swords and stuff, that's not true Islam. The Islam that's spread by the sword of conquest after the prophet is dead. Yes? So the Islam that spreads by conquest, and shortly thereafter, the first 4, what they call rightfully guided caliphs, and the Umayyads come to power, which really is about to expand. And this is how you get up into more Spain and Africa. These people who spread Islam by violence are the same people who was fighting against Muhammad. These were not real lovers of Islam, although they spread the faith, but they did it through violence. When the prophet was here, the wars he was engaged in was dealing with retaliation because they was coming at him. The Meccans was the ones like, get out of Mecca. We don't want to hear this crap. We're going to kill you. Remember? And then the prophet sends a group of the community over to Ethiopia because of the tolerant Christian king in Ethiopia. And then the Meccans go over to Ethiopia to talk to the king and say, hand those Muslims over. We want to deal with them. We want to kill them. And the Ethiopian king was like, no, we will not hand them over. Right? So his wars was basically self-defense wars. They wasn't wars that was based upon expansion and subduing you and making you come to this religion. That was not the way. So at the very, very beginning, it wasn't even accepted. It was rejected through war. And then when he stood on it, more war came because you were standing on this new revelation called Quran or Islam. And then the ones who were fighting you say, okay, you finally beaten us. I'll name some names. Muawiyah, the Umayyads, you're finally beating us. And Muawiyah in 630 converts and becomes a Muslim, and the Prophet dies 2 years later. 2 years later. And then he's going to go to war with Ali. Yes? And then when Ali dies, then he says, no. I'm the man now. I run this whole thing. This is fact. This is called the Umayyads, right? The Umayyads. Yeah? Okay. They started spreading Islam through the bloody knife more rapidly than Abu Bakr did. Yes? And so this is not the Prophet's Islam that's spreading, that people are saying, oh, look at this bloody religion in the beginning, because we don't know that history. Okay? All right. So remember Hadith al-Kisa, known as the cloak Hadith? I remember this? This is the Hadith where the Prophet says, hey, he takes his daughter outside, Fatima, her two sons, Hassan and Hussein, and their father, Ali, which is now the Prophet's son-in-law and cousin. And he says, basically, oh, Allah, protect them, purify them. This is my family. Yes? So this is his spiritual family. This is a fact. This is his physical family, and this is his spiritual family, because the spirituality, the spiritual law, always precedes the physical law, and physical law is always made to mirror spiritual law. This is why the Egyptians built obelisks to the heavens, pyramids, and these, they're really called tekens, but we can call them an obelisk. This is why they had a sky goddess named Nut. Yes? All of the cosmologies, you can go to the Greeks who came to Egypt and got it from us anyway. Yeah, you start dealing with Apollo, the sun god, Diana, the moon, dirty Diana, the moon goddess. You start dealing with these cosmic principles. And then you start building colosseums, pyramids, and things of that nature. Then you say, hey, we're going to create a sports, a competition called the Olympics, named after the Olympian gods. Yes? So physical law is made to mirror spiritual law. So our physical family is supposed to be our spiritual family. Supposed to be. Yes? All right. So let's look at a hadith that the messenger of Allah said, Ali is from me and I am from Ali, and none should represent me except myself or Ali. Look at the grade where it says Hassan. Now, hold on. This is in a Sunni hadith. The Prophet says, he's from Ali. How are you going to be from Ali? I thought Ali was from you because you older than him and the revelation came to you. Ali is from you. How are you going to be from Ali? That's interesting. And you say, basically, can nobody represent me but myself or Ali? So I was asked, how do you interpret this? There's nothing to interpret. You say, yes, sir. Until further notice. Now, if there's another hadith where he said, I'm not from Ali, get rid of Ali, Ali is not to replace me, then okay, that stands on the record. But that's not on the record. This is on the record. And this grade is Hassan. Yes, let's get into that real quick. Hassan, a good grade hadith, is an authentic prophetic narration that is considered acceptable for use as evidence, but is a step below the highest grade, which is Sahih. Hasan hadith have complete chains of transmissions, no missing links, with narrators of sound character, but one or more narrators have a slight weakness in memory or precision compared to Sahih narrators, though they are still considered reliable. These narrations must be free from hidden defects and strong enough to be used, sometimes gaining strength from other supporting chains. Now, here's the question. In Islamic law known as Sharia, can you use Hasan, meaning a good hadith? Yes, Hasan hadiths are used as evidence in Islamic law, considered accepted by scholars. We know it's slightly less authoritative than Sahih, but hold on. So you're telling us that Hasan hadith is considered acceptable in Islamic law. Okay, I would like to file a complaint within Islamic law. And my complaint is, I guess I'll be representing the Shia for a quick second, that, hey, after the death of the Prophet, the person who was supposed to represent him is Ali, and here is a Hasan hadith that you must consider. That's just the filing of the complaint. We get into some evidence, but this is the evidence in of itself right here. It really should be in the discussion. Yes, I just find that very interesting. But we're gonna get into some things about spiritual family. Y'all ready? So let's look at a gentleman by the name of Salmān Fārsī. Persian. Yes, Mr. Salmān Fārsī. Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, deeply accepted and honored Salmān al-Fārsī, declaring him one of us, the al-Bayt, yes, to settle disputes among companions, and famously stating that Salmān is from us, the family of the Prophet. After the trench was dug, integrating him fully into Muslim community despite his Persian origin, emphasizing piety over blood ties, and showing immense love and respect. The trench incident, during the digging of the trench, Ansar, which is the community, and the Muhajirun argue over who Salmān belonged to, each wanting to claim him. The Prophet resolved this by stating Salmān is neither of a Muhajir nor an Ansar. He is one of us, the al-Bayt, yes, which is the family of the Prophet. The common analogy for equality. When some Arabs made racist remarks about Salmān's non-Arab status, the Prophet became upset and delivered a sermon from the pulpit saying, all are equal like the teeth of a comb, and only piety matters, condemning such prejudice. Once again, putting the emphasis on faith and not bloodline. The Prophet showed immense love, giving Salmān the best seat in gatherings and expressing Allah's love for him as well, highlighting his high spiritual status. Now look at this. Salmān al-Muhammadi. After his death, Imam Ali, look what Ali referred to him as Salmān al-Muhammadi, or Salmān the Muhammadan, to signify his unique closeness to the Prophet. Question: was Salmān Fārsī a supporter of Ali? Yes. Salmān al-Fārsī was a devoted supporter and follower of Ali ibn Abī Ṭālib, son of Abī Ṭālib or Abū Ṭālib. He is considered one of the four companions who remained firmly loyal to Ali after the death of Prophet Muhammad. Unwavering loyalty, Salmān is described as a Shia follower of Ali who never disagreed with him, believing that supporting Ali was an obligation. The family connection, Prophet Muhammad stated that Salmān is from us, the Prophet's family, highlighting his close standing with the Prophet and Ali. Support for secession. After the Prophet's demise, Salmān supported Ali's right to leadership. Read it again. Support for secession. After the Prophet's demise, Salmān supported Ali's right to leadership. Role in the caliphate. During the caliphate of Ali, Salmān was appointed as governor of, what's that? Madian. I can't see because my cursor, the way my cursor is set up on my screen. Okay. Let me see. Which is in modern day Iraq. Yes. Isn't this interesting that the Prophet saw someone, and he was a mystic. Let me see if I got his stuff. We can get into him yet. He was a mystic. Salmān al-Fārsī was Persian origin. His parents were Zoroastrian religion. Deal with a lot of fire. They deal with fire as a divine spark of God. Okay? So when you see the fire worshippers in the Quran, they talking about those, the Zoroastrians. And their god is Mazda, which is the car out here, right? He was a Christian monk as well. Okay? And heavy into what's called Hanif monotheism, which is a strict following of basically Abraham, right? In a sense, one God, in a sense. It's basically, it was like Islam before Islam, for real, all right? So this dude was a monk, and he'd been heard of the prophetic traditions of the one that's coming. And when he saw the prophet, peace be upon him, he recognized the prophet as the prophet. Loved the prophet so much that the prophet loved him so much as well and said, "Now you one of us, man. You one of the family, bro. You family." So now at the death of the prophet, this person who was there, firsthand account, was there, is saying, no, the right of succession goes to Ali. I follow Ali. He was there. Let's keep cooking. Here's a gentleman, 13 years old at the death of the prophet. Ibn Abbas, 13 years old. Of course, you can look all this stuff up. One of the cousins of Prophet Muhammad, which means he was cousin to Ali as well, yes? He is considered to be the greatest mufassir of the Quran, meaning tafsir. Now, watch this. Watch this. Let's go to a hadith. And this is a statement from the Prophet. "O Allah, bestow upon him, Ibn Abbas, the knowledge of the book, the Quran." Yes? Let me bring this up. At the bottom it says, "Once the Prophet embraced me," this is Ibn Abbas saying this, "and said, 'O Allah, bestow on him the knowledge of the Quran.'" Yes? This is what another hadith says. He heard Ibn Abbas saying that the messenger of Allah placed his hand between my shoulders, or he said on my shoulder, and then he said, "O Allah, grant him understanding of the religion and teach him interpretation." Teach him interpretation. So here's a 13-year-old cousin, 13-year-old boy. The Prophet is saying, "Oh Allah, teach him Quran." Some accounts say, "Oh Allah, teach him knowledge and interpretation of the Quran." Yes? Now, spiritual circles, you can Google this. They say that he is the OG, Ibn Abbas is the OG of tafsir, meaning the commentary about the verses of the Quran. So back then, they wasn't writing things down and had a book. He didn't have no book, so you had to come to classes. You had to come to the sermon. You had to get it from mouth to ear. But as time evolves and people start writing, they all give sources, cite him as the original tafsir OG. Okay? All right. Now I said, well, hold on. If the Prophet wanted him to know interpretation, I know the Prophet wanted interpretation, will say something about interpretation about Ali. So here's a hadith that said, there is someone among you who will fight for the interpretation of this Quran, just as I fought for its revelation. We all looked around, Abu Bakr and Umar included, and the Prophet said, no, but it is the one who mends the sandals, pointing to Ālī repairing the Prophet's shoes. This is reported by who? Abu Sa'id. Yes. How is it graded? Sahih. Oh, Sahih. That's the highest grade that you can get. It's graded Sahih. Yes. Hold on. So the Prophet is on record of saying, one of you have to fight for the interpretation of the Quran, like I had to fight for the revelation. And he pointed to Ālī. But then he goes to Ibn Abbas, right, and say, hey, I pray, Ya Allah, please give this man knowledge of the Quran and interpretation of the Quran. Yes? Watch this. Ibn Abbas was raised in the Prophet's household and often learned directly from who? Ālī. He regarded Ālī as his primary teacher in Quran, tafsir, and judgment. During Ālī Caliphate, which was 5 years, Ibn Abbas resided with Ālī in Kufa for extended periods. Ālī appointed him governor of Basra, showing exceptional trust. Even while governing, Ibn Abbas returned to Kufa and remained in constant consultation with Ālī. Political and intellectual role, he served as Ali's chief debater and envoy, notably in discussion with the, Khawārij. He defended Ālī publicly and privately, stating that no one knew the Quran better after the Prophet than Ālī. I say it again. He defended Ālī publicly and privately, stating that no one knew the Quran better after the Prophet than Ālī. After Ali's death, Ibn Abbas withdrew from Umayyad politics, returned to Mecca, and focused on teaching. He never renounced his loyalty to Ālī and the family of the Prophet. Ibn Abbas held Ālī in extremely high regard, highlighting his unique virtues, such as his pure Islamic birth, his close relationship to the Prophet, his knowledge of Quran and elevated status, famously defending Ālī, right, against the rebels and affirming his merits through Quranic verses and prophetic sayings. He emphasized Ali's role as the Prophet's successor and guardian, even after Ālī corrected him on the issue of temporary marriage. This is 3 things he said about Ālī. The most knowledgeable after the messenger of Allah was Ālī. Ālī ibn, right, or Abu ibn, son of Abī Ṭālib, was given 9/10 of knowledge, and by Allah he shared the remaining 10th with the people. By Allah, no verse was revealed except that Ālī knew whether it was revealed by night or day in the plain or the mountain. So who's considered the OG of Tafsir? Ibn Abbas was taught by Ālī, lived with Ālī, and says there's no better person after the Prophet to lead us than Ālī, and there is nobody more knowledgeable about the Quran after the Prophet than Ālī. Ibn Abbas was there. Now, who am I today in 2026 or any time in the 1900s? Who 9 times out of 10 wasn't even born into Islam, but even if you was born into it and you find the history and you are outside of the support of Ālī and looking at the family lineage, because there's teachings that comes from that lineage that's not mainstream Islam that we have today. The mainstream Islam that we have today is Islam that comes by the way of the enemies of the family. It's just the truth. So who are we today in the 19th, 20th, 21st century? 19th is 20th, 21st century. Who are we to say this is wrong, Ālī, we don't do that, and we argue the point of the enemy when these people were there? I'm gonna keep going. Talking about spiritual family. Now enters Abū Dharr. Abū Dharr, truthfulness. This is what the Prophet says about Abū Dharr. The earth never carried above it, nor did the sky ever shade under it a more truthful tongue than Abū Dharr. Abū Dharr's name is going to be Abū Dharr al-Haq. That's how I'm going to remember him. The ultimate truth. This is the Prophet. The Prophet said, what? Let's read that again. The earth never carried above it, nor did the sky ever shade under it a more truthful tongue than Abū Dharr. Whoa, that's a heavy statement. This is the most truthful person the Prophet has ever seen? Wow. Ever? Okay, well, what's this guy's position? Abū Dharr held Imam Ali in extremely high regard, reporting prophetic sayings that designated Ali as the leader of the righteous, a supporter whom ensures victory, and one who abandons Ali faces abandonment by Allah. Famously recounting the event of Ali giving his ring in prayer and the Prophet's prayer for him, he staunchly supported Ali's right to the caliphate over others, even protesting against early caliphs and mosques, believing Ali was the rightful successor based on the Prophet's clear declarations about the family's leadership. Whoa. Whoa. Keep going. Prophetic endorsement. Abū Dharr al-Haq narrated that the Prophet said, Ali is the beacon of righteousness and the destroyer of the infidels. He who helps him is victorious, and he who abandons him is vanquished. The ring incident. He recounted witnessing Ali giving his ring in charity while in prayer, prompted the Prophet to pray for Ali, which was followed by the descent of the verse establishing Allah, his messenger, and the believers as protectors, referencing the verse about Ali's guardianship. Y'all catch that? That Quranic verse is supposed to be referencing Ali's guardianship. Let me just let the cat out the bag, ladies and gentlemen. There are some things that I am studying that says when you dig deep enough into this history, those who came in political power, they excluded certain verses from the Quran because they pointed directly to Ali. Yeah, let's say it. Let's say it. Let's get back to it. The caliphate in succession, Abū Dharr al-Haq argued that the caliphate belonged to the Prophet's family and protested against those who ignored the Prophet's clear statements on Ali's leadership. Now, if the most truthful person, this is what the Prophet said. The Prophet said this is the most truthful person on the entire earth. This person says, after the Prophet, Ali is supposed to lead this thing, to lead Islam. The Prophet said in the Hadith, greatest sound, hey, if I'm not here to represent me, then Ali will represent me. Ali is from me, I'm from Ali. That's what he said. Abū Dharr al-Haq was there. He was there. What are we talking about, ladies and gentlemen? Now let's enter Mr. al-Miqdād. He was a black man. Look it up. Al-Miqdād was he was a brother. So let's read this. Al-Miqdād, I gotta wait for this thing to go away. There it goes. Was a prominent early companion of Prophet Muhammad, known as one of Islam's first converts, a loyal supporter of Ali, and the first Muslim horseman participating in early Islamic battles. He was adopted by al-Aswad al-Kindi in Mecca, later migrated to Medina, and was a significant figure during the Rashidun Caliphate. This is after the Prophet died and they picked the first three leaders, okay? Key aspect of al-Miqdād. He was among the first to embrace Islam in Mecca, even before the public declaration, according to some accounts. He embraced Islam before the Prophet even made it public, to some accounts. He was a muhajir, migrating from Mecca to Medina with other early Muslims. He was the first Muslim horseman. He holds the distinction of being the first Muslim to ride a horse in battle according to history. Loyalty to Ali and Shia Islam, he is revered as one of the four companions who remained steadfastly loyal to Ali after Muhammad's passing. Military participation, he fought in all the majority military campaigns alongside the Prophet. What? So this gentleman is the first person, black man. Was he black? I believe so. So to ride a horse, he wasn't the black person. The next one's up. He's gonna be black. First person to ride a horse, which is the cavalry, right? And the saying is this: he told the Prophet, it was a war going on, and he told the Prophet, we're not going to sit by like the Israelites did Moses and told Moses to go while we sit here. We say go, and we're going with you. And this brought a smile on the Prophet's face because the believers was with him. This is what this brother said. Staunch supporter of Ali, the first person to get like on a horse and like, oh, they won't smoke? Y'all want to fight and kill the Prophet because he got this new revelation? Okay, I'm with it. Y'all won't smoke? I'm with the Prophet. He's a supporter of Ali. He was there. We wasn't. Okay? All right. Now enter Ḥammār ibn Yāsir. He was black, for sure. A prominent early companion of the Prophet, known for his deep faith, enduring severe torture. He was tortured. He was tortured for being a Muslim. In loyalty to who? Ali, ultimately becoming a martyr at the Battle of Siffin, fulfilling the prophecy by the Prophet. See, this is stuff that make me cry, and I'm going to get into it. He and his parents, Yāsir and Sumayya, was among the first converts to Islam in Mecca, with his mother, look at this, becoming the first person killed of the Muslim community. Y'all see this? What? Early conversion and persecution. Ḥammār, his father Yāsir, and his mother Sumayya was tortured by Meccan polytheists for their faith. Sumayya and Yāsir died from their abuse, making them the first people to die in Islam. During torture, Ḥammār uttered the words against his faith to save his life, which is a famous instance of what? Taqiyya, which means concealing belief under duress, later understood and forgiven by the Prophet. This is big because now this is revealed in the Quran. It's okay to denounce your faith under duress to keep your life. That's what they say. Okay? Come by the way of, I should have looked into the mother's history, but you'll see. Loyalty to Ali. After Muhammad's death, Ḥammār remained a staunch supporter of Ali, becoming one of the core followers and serving as governor of Kufa under Umar. Military contributions. He fought in nearly all major battles, and he helped build the first mosque in Medina. He was killed at the Battle of Siffin, fighting for Ali against Muawiyah. There go that traitor. Fulfilling the Prophet's prophecy that a rebellious group would kill him, and death considered a significant marker in Islamic history. Let me retract that. Muawiyah is not a traitor. He never had it in his heart in the beginning. His daddy was fighting against Ali. He didn't come into Islam and then trade. No. He accepted Islam as, if you can't beat him, join him. He infiltrated and then took over. He was never a traitor. He was always an enemy. Let me make that clear, okay? All right. So now let's read this prophecy. Let's read this prophecy. Because see, we're going to see, is Prophet Muhammad a prophet? We about to see. Let's read this. Let's see what's on the record. This is narrated by Ikrimah. Ibn Abbas told him that Ali bin Abdullah, Ali son of Abdullah, to go to Abu Sa'id and listen to some of his narrations. So they both went. They saw Abu Sa'id and his brother irrigating the garden belonging to them. When he saw them, he came up to them and sat down with his legs drawn up and wrapped in his garment and said, during the construction of the mosque of the Prophet, this is what's taking place, y'all. We carried the adobe of the mosque one brick at a time, while Ḥammār used to carry 2 at a time. Here go the prophecy. The Prophet passed by Ḥammār and removed the dust off his head and said, "May Allah be merciful to Ḥammār. He will be killed by a rebellious, aggressive group. Ḥammār will invite them to obey Allah, and they will invite him to the hell fire." That is Sahih Bukhari. You see it at the bottom. Now, what I've been telling y'all, Sahih Bukhari is considered the top most authentic Sunni hadith. In this hadith, there's a prophecy. Then the prophet gives to Ḥammār and says, you're going to be killed by this rebellious group, but you're going to invite them to Allah. So this is going to happen in the future after the prophet dies. It happens. So he becomes, the prophecy is true. He's prophet. But here's the real point. Notice where he said Ḥammār would invite them to obey Allah. How would you obey Allah and the prophet is gone? And this happened during the time of Ali's caliphate. You have to follow who and obey who? Ali. To obey Allah is to obey Ali. Okay? So don't let that slip up under there. All right. So now, was Ḥammār a black guy? Yes, historical accounts in Islamic tradition describe Ḥammār ibn Yāsir as having dark skin or being black. And he is recognized as one of the early prominent black Muslim heroes who faced severe persecution for his faith alongside his family in Mecca. And again, getting back into everything that we read earlier. His mother is the first person to die. Interesting. Interesting. Y'all see this? Very, very interesting. Black man. Black man. Let's keep moving. So remember the hadith? Whoever I am his mawla, which means master. It can mean friend, but it's master. Then Ali is his mawla. Oh Allah, befriend whoever befriends him and oppose whoever opposes him. Oh, really? So let's look at this. According to Tirmidhi, this is graded Hasan Sahih. Yes? Now, al-Mustadrak said it is graded, or al-Hakim said it is graded Sahih by the criteria of Bukhari and Sahih Muslim. Sahih Bukhari, Sahih Muslim are supposed to be the top 2 authentic hadiths, with Bukhari first and Sahih Muslim second. So something is graded Sahih, then it's Hasan Sahih, then Hasan. Anything less can't be considered, especially in Islamic law. So these are very authentic grades here, that the prophet is on the record of saying, whoever I am his mawla, then Ali is his mawla. But I don't want to debate mawla. The other hadith made it clear. Yes, the first hadith made it super clear. None is to represent me but Ali. So we don't have to argue about what mawla means, which we know what it means. We don't have to argue about that. I want to pay attention to, he said, yo, whoever opposes him, you supposed to oppose them. Whoever fight Ali, you fight them. Y'all know what's a saying? To test the true heart of a Muslim is how they respond to your love for Ali. They say you can always tell the hypocrites based upon your love for Ali. That's deep. That is deep. That's a saying. You can tell the hypocrite based upon your love for Ali. Man, that's scary. So let me show y'all something real quick. In Islam, there is something known as the 10 companions that's going to heaven. The 10 promised paradise. And this is what they say it is. These 10 right here. Now, the first 3 we're going to exclude because they was dead before Ali went into the first fitna known as the Civil War. So we got to box around Ali's name because we want to box some things off and look at his leadership when he was leader. Because when he was leader, there was a problem. A civil war broke out. And I find it very interesting that number 5 and number 6 decided to fight against Ali. Now, they said they didn't fight Ali because of his leadership. They didn't oppose the leadership. They fought Ali because they didn't like how Ali was handling the death of Imam number 3. I'm sorry, of Caliph number 3, because they were not imams. Or the imam, they was not that. They were caliphs. They were the caliphs. They were political leaders. They were not spiritual leaders. 1, 2, and 3 were not spiritual leaders. They were political leaders. But number 3 did something interesting. Let's read what I got by it. He reversed the prophet's exiles and put them in power. I showed this before. You can go Google this stuff. Did Uthman bring family members back into Islam and put them in political office after Prophet Muhammad had exiled these people and kicked them out the community? The answer is yes. So he gets killed. And they don't like how they think Ali ain't applying enough pressure for the killers. And so Aisha, the prophet's young wife, boy, I was talking to you about this. This is like black people soap operas to me. Aisha, right? The prophet said, the devil will rear his head from that direction. And they say he pointed in the direction of the east, which was the direction of Aisha's house. There is a hadith that the prophet asked Aisha, is it your devil that is with you? And she said, do you have a devil? And he said, yeah, we all got a devil. With her little sassy ass. I'm just going to say it for what it is. Right? Jealous woman. She launches the war against Ali. I've covered this before. You can look into this. The hadith states that she herself narrated and said, I saw the prophet say, Ali, Fatima, Hassan, Hussein, it's his family. God protect them. I saw him say this. This is her hadith. And she launches a war against Ali because she thinks that Ali is not being on the job to take care of Uthman's murderers. Ain't that something? And then these 2 companions say, you know what? We agree with you, Aisha. We're going to roll with you. Let's look at this. Let's look at this. Number 7, he's dead before the Civil War. Number 10 is dead before the Civil War. Now, there's only technically outside of Ali, there's only 4 companions at the time of the Civil War. Outside of Ali, there are 4 companions that's promised paradise. 2 of them fought him. The other 2 remained neutral. It was like, man, we ain't getting into this. This is family. Family's fighting family. This is weird. We're not getting into this. Right? But you know what that shows me? Those 2 who remain neutral. You see the prophet's wife fighting against Ali. Ali's stature, because we see the whole picture now. Ibn Abbas with him. Abū Dharr al-Haq with him. Yes, everybody's with Ali. So we see it. And y'all 2 is like, wait a minute, they're going to prophet's wife. You think you're going to, hey man, going to let nobody disrespect my prophet's wife? You crazy. It ain't happening. But Ali's stature must have been so thorough and rightly divine that it's like, man, We bogus if we fight with Ali, mess around and kill the prophet's wife. So that's wrong. And we can't, if we go against them, then that's wrong. We just gonna remain cool. So that tells me that Ali's status was revered by them. You understand what I'm saying? Because if he was wrong, you just would have joined him and fought against him. You understand what I'm saying? So this is what I'm saying. This is what we saw in green. Ibn Abbas is the Tasfir OG. He's supposed to be the scholar of scholars, but he was taught by Ali, and he said nobody was more knowledgeable than Ali. That's what we saw. We saw Salmān Farsi say, the prophet said, no, he's family, and y'all saw him say, Ali is the one. You saw Abū Dharr, the most truthful person on earth, say, Ali is the one. You saw Ḥammār ibn Yāsir, his mother was killed, said, Ali is the one. Yes? So why is that important, ladies and gentlemen? Because when you get to this beautiful soul of a woman, Nafisa bint al-Hassan, when you get to her, see, let's just imagine, what would Islam look like had Ali had his rightful position and it wasn't basically stolen from him, right? What would Islam look like? It wouldn't have spread by bloodshed, because that wasn't the way of the Prophet Muhammad, wasn't the way of spreading Islam through bloodshed. That's a stark contradiction. Now, if you want that smoky, you come messing with us, it's on the popping. But we know the history now who spread Islam through bloodshed. They was enemies of the Prophet. It wasn't the family of the Prophet. The family of the Prophet did not spread Islam. The family of the Prophet was murdered by the infiltrators. That's a fact. So spiritual family was murdered by physical people who wasn't obviously spiritual family. Yes? So now when you have a beautiful soul like this, these teachings don't have to go underground. We got to go over here and get some women. Hey, listen, you're going to give birth to a very prophetic, gifted, spiritual child. But shh, because the government is looking for it. You know, there was an order. Any male named Ali that's born in that family, kill him. That was an order from the Umayyads. Kill him. Anybody named Ali, kill him. Okay? So now the spiritual revelation, the spiritual teachings have to go underground because they're going to get met with murder. So now when you get this beautiful soul, you know what she does? She was a renowned Islamic scholar and teacher who significantly influenced the famous Imam al-Shafi, who was the founder of the Shafi school of law, who sought her knowledge, guidance, and blessings, even requesting she lead his funeral prayer. She taught him hadith and jurisprudence, holding a very high scholarly and spiritual status with many circles attributed to her. So remember when I showed you, when you look at the traditional Sunni school of law, Hanafi was taught by Imam Jafar al-Sadiq, the sixth Imam. That's the Prophet's family. That's Ali's family. Yes, we see Shafi was taught by her, by Nafisa. Yes, Maliki was taught by Jafar al-Sadiq as well. Hanbali was learned from Shafi. Okay, so which means what? He indirectly learned from Nafisa and Jafar because Shafi learned from Hanafi and Maliki. 4 learned from 3. 3 learned from 1 and 2. 1 and 2 is taught by Imam Jafar al-Sadiq. Yes, and 3 is taught by who? A mystic woman of Hassan. Alhamdulillah, that's what it was. I was like, why did this pop up? I'm gonna show you something. Taught by Hassan, right? Let me get into this real quick. All right. So, fiqh. She was highly regarded as an authority in Islamic law. The renowned Imam al-Shafi, founder of the Shafi school of thought, was among the prominent scholars who attended her study circles and learned hadith and fiqh from her. Yes, hadith was known as a skilled narrator, expert of hadith with a chain of transmission connected back to the Prophet's family. Tasfir, she memorized the Quran and its exegesis, possessing a great intellectual ability to explain its meanings. Tasawwuf, here go the Sufis. Her home was a major gathering place for the pillars of Tasawwuf in the pious people of her time. She was known for her immense piety, asceticism, and God consciousness, embodying the esoteric aspects of faith. She was given titles such as the Rare Lady of Knowledge and Gnosis, reflecting her deep spiritual understanding and mystical knowledge. Yes? Now, here is her masjid right here. This is in Egypt. Here is her shrine right here in Egypt. Now, she is supposed to come from Ali, and Fatima's oldest son is Hassan. She's supposed to come from the lineage of Hassan. Swear to you, right? So today I'm getting ready for a winter storm. Yes, I'm getting ready for the winter storm. So I go to Walmart and I'm going to get some stuff. You know you old when you go to Walmart and you really used to go to Foot Locker, but you go to, well, I want to Walmart, get me some, I ain't playing, right? Now I done got old now, right? So hold on. So I'm going to Walmart and I come out and I'm, you always got to watch God. So there's a prayer, and I can, my closest sahabs will tell you. So when I do a zikr, I zikr on who you're supposed to zikr on, the family. You know what I mean? Like seeing this history and knowing 2 days ago when I was in zikr, man, I was just in tears for a moment because I saw Hussein get his head cut off. And before he got his head cut off, the legend is he asked the enemy, could he get his baby something to drink? And they took an arrow, like, F that baby, and shot an arrow into the prophet's great-grandson's throat and killed the baby and then beheaded the father, which is the prophet's grandson, Hussein. I'm like, damn, that's vicious. So as I come out of Wally World, I swear, please blow this up. Look what was written on this. You see that? Look what was written on somebody's dirty, window. That says, Hassan. I took this picture today. Man, listen, I ain't got a lot. Hold on. How can I get where the info? Can I get the info? Do it not say Friday? Come on, adjust camera, adjust for me. Come on in for me. Come on in. There we go. Do it not say Friday, January the 23rd, 8:41 a.m. Yes, it do. Yes, it do. Friday, January 23rd, 8:41 a.m. I'm coming out, get in my truck. Look, I see the name Hassan dead in front of me. I said, oh, really? This what we doing? Okay, no problem. Message well received. I got it. See, when you start to get in this vein, you really start to get in it. The Quran says all the time, how many signs will you ignore? These are signs for men of understanding. These are signs for people who use their intellect. That's what the Quran says. So we're going to give you a sign to let you know that you own it. You understand what I'm saying? So anyway, that's the lineage that she is from. Okay? Now, let's get into a couple sayings of Ali, because see, this is important because we have been retarded, meaning we have been held back. When I say that, retarders like brake retards, right? Like held back. We have been held back because of the evil forces. It's just the truth, right? All right, so then this esoteric inner meaning of the Quran has to go underground. So now let's kind of connect some dots to some things, right? So Ali is known to have said, I know the paths of the heavens better than the paths of the earth. What do you mean the paths of the heaven? Better than you know paths on earth? What? Paths in heaven? What are you talking about? But the Quran says, what? By the heaven full of pathways, while Sami Dati al-Hubuki. Yes? Hubuki. Pathways. What I tell you pathways represent? Do it not say a woven structure, a texture? Do it not say interwoven and intersecting? So by the heaven full of pathways, the Quran is showing us that these pathways is a mesh-like fabric. Space is a fabric. Einstein proved that, but the Quran is hundreds of years before Einstein. Einstein is the one that says, hey, ladies and gentlemen, space and time is one thing. It was known as space-time continuum. Before that, nobody had the idea, it wasn't on the record that space is a fabric. He said it's invisible, but it behaves like a physical property of something of physics, physicality. It's a fabric, but the Quran knows this. So Ali says he knows this. This is what Ali says. He said he knows this structure. He knows this better than he knows the pathways on earth. He knows the heavenly pathways. Woo, what are you talking about? What are we talking about? Okay. Then he says, eyes do not see him, but hearts perceive him by realities of faith. Eyes don't see him, but hearts perceive, because the Quran says, so have they not traveled through the earth and have hearts by which to reason? So yes, the Quran says the hearts can reason, because science says what? Studies indicate the heart possesses a form of perception by acting as a sensory organ that influences brain function, emotional processing, and the perception of time. Time Perception 2023. Research published in Current Biology and noted in Scientific America and CBS News found that the brain uses the heartbeat's rhythm to create sense of time passing and with changes with each beat. The beat of the heart is giving you information. The Quran knows this, and that's what Ali was referring to. But once again, here comes science. Johnny come lately, 2023. Something that the Quran already knows, something that Ali said he knows. Yes? Do you think you are a small body while within you the entire universe is folded? Whoa, you just said within us, the whole entire universe is folded. As above, so below. As within, so without. They always leave that part out. They just say as above, so below. But it's also as within, so without. Wow. So the universe is folded inside of us. What do you mean folded? Do you think the universe is folded up and bunched up? See, the mind may say it's bunched up and packed inside of us. I showed you earlier this week when I did a special cookbook what folded mean. Here's a verse in the Quran, which this surah is called the Prophets. The day we will fold the heaven like the folding of a scroll for records. Yes. Notice you see fold at the very top. So we're dealing with the same word. Look what's in red: innermost thoughts, real conviction, true mind, intention, design, and conscious. It also means passing time as well. I showed this on the video dealing with Spain and the train crash. Yes. It also deals with passing of time. But fold represents consciousness, y'all. So now that verse should read, the day that passes by, the heaven is a conscious scroll of records. This is what Ali meant. when he said, it is folded, the universe is folded in you. So the conscious scroll of records is inside of us. See, these were the teachings. This was the real Islamic teachings that didn't get a chance to make it to the limelight and is still today not the limelight. It's held with a certain group of people, yes, held in private conversations, i.e. Sufi orders, i.e. spiritual traditions of the hidden ones in Shia Islam. Yes? All right. So spiritual family is a very important thing. Very important thing. So important. So I give you an idea. I'll share about 2 testimonials. Kind of like 3, but it's going to be from 2 people, 2 of, and everybody. The spiritual family I have, especially the inner part, of it, it's a beautiful family. I
just really been thinking about everything we talked about in the Sunday class, and just really been thinking about everything we talked about in the Sunday class, and it's just that was a really good class.
It really was. I felt the same way, Eric. I thought it was almost like a therapy session.
Honestly, like I really had to sit in silence for like a good hour.
Oh wow!
Like 30 minutes to an hour after prayer. I'm like, God, Lee, like, wow, like this is crazy. I want to call him back. Have another class right now.
Yeah, I was like, I felt like everybody was like dropping gems like a Sufi. Like everybody had their Sufi hat on that day. I was like, wow.
Yeah. That was beautiful.
It was very beautiful. I said so too.
For me, I would say like the Golden Heart has been it's been opening. It's been opening emotionally, mentally, and it's like you said from the beginning, it provides structure and a level of protection that I feel that I haven't felt in studying other religions or other spiritual paths. And I know, like reading the Quran, I feel like I hear God's voice more than I hear his voice in the Bible. It's very direct.
Okay. So just giving you a quick little feel of spiritual family, right? Jesus said it best, you know what I mean, in a sense. And I'm not saying it's not about denouncing anyone. It's about coming into accepting the reality of being amongst spiritual family. That's the key. It's like, hey, I got to be amongst my kind. You know what I mean? That's it. There's an invisible synergy, sort of like the law of momentum nobody talks about. The whole purpose of discipline. When you understand compound investing, would you take $1 million right now in cash or a penny doubled for 30 days? I did that math, like literally on a spreadsheet, did that math before. And a penny doubled for 30 days is slightly more than $1 million, right? But compound investing only works when you stay consistent. So the magic of momentum deals with consistency. And momentum shoots you to another stratosphere, but it must be your consistency that does that. And that's the power of the prayer. That's the power of when we truly understand when we truly, really ingest. I was talking to Judah the other day and was talking about, I think he said it was Ezekiel. Maybe it was Ezekiel, but somebody God told him, eat them scrolls, put the scrolls in your mouth, and it went to his stomach, which means you have to ingest and digest. See, when it go into your mouth, it gets broken down, right? You digest it. So there's an ingesting and a digesting thing, meaning it's now assimilated into the blood and it's assimilated into the body. So the information has to be ingested and assimilated. That's very important to understand, right? When you understand Islam at the core, the whole thing is about getting you on a very disciplined, repetitious structure that's going to build momentum. Yes, that's what it does. And once it builds momentum, you keep going up, and the next thing you know, it's takeoff time. And what do takeoff time look like? Well, it looks like what I call discovering and surrendering to the will of God by opening and purifying our hearts, whereas our souls may expand in the light of God, making our lives truly fulfilled. That's what it looks like. I hope you understand that. Sometimes I trip people up, but it's a very simple concept. To discover and surrender to the will of God, which you surrendering to when you haven't discovered it yet. You got to discover it first and say, oh, you know what? This is it. I feel it. It got me. It's calling me. I surrender to it. Then what's next? By opening, how you do? Opening and purifying. By opening and purifying the heart. Whereas now our souls can expand in the light of God, then making our lives truly fulfilled. So that repetition over and over again, life becomes truly fulfilling. Your life becomes truly fulfilling, right? And you'll see it. You'll see it. You absolutely will see it. Okay. All right. So, any questions? What time is it? 1:46. Doing good on time. Any questions? I'll drop a link real quick. If you want to mic up real quick, mic up, cam up. You got a question, comment, or something? Boom. As we say, whoop. There it is. It's right there in the chat. You can click on that link if you want to mic up, cam up, comment, and whatnot. But yeah. Other than that, I'm here. Happy Khutbah, happy Friday, Jumu'ah Mubarak, Shalom Shabbat. Fridays is very special. Very special. Very special. What should we do on Fridays? See, we got a teaching. What are we supposed to do on Fridays? There's something that we're supposed to do on Fridays. You're not supposed to miss Fridays. There's a saying amongst the Prophet's family that on Friday nights, they ascend to the heavens and receive instructions from the Prophet. And prophets on Friday nights, they make an ascension. I said, oh boy, that's heavy. That's heavy. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So I'm at Patreon. You can always get to me. Man, we having a ball. I so love these little beautiful, intimate Sunday and Tuesday classes. They are really phenomenal and just going in a beautiful direction. You see people glowing, you know what I mean? It's you see relationships improving. You see more obedience to the heart, because the heart got a code. It's transmitting information. We just saw it. Science just say, yeah. We just found out that the brain is responding to the heartbeat and how you perceive time. If that's how you perceive time, then that's how you perceive reality. Right there in the Quran. Hence, we are called what over here? What do we say when we look at it? Yes. What's the logo? Boom. Got that heart right there. We know this already. Sinners. Okay, we good? No comments? Nobody want to come on? If you need me, you can always email me. You can email me, nobleampu@gmail. Feel free to email me. Or if you're in the Patreon, inbox me, right? If you're in Patreon, I prefer that you inbox me in Patreon, because there's absolutely no private message that comes to me that goes unread. That don't happen, okay? So inbox me. Gmail things can kind of get shuffled up, right? But inbox me, okay? All right, we good? We striggity straight? All right. I got Mike P. I knew Mike P was coming today. I felt Mike P. What up, Mike P, the scientific mystic?
Oh shit! Yo, excuse my language. What's good, non-poo man? Peace.
What's good? What's good, man? You ready for this winter storm? You about to get it, buddy?
I just got it, bro. We're getting over 6 inches of snow right now, my man.
Oh,
I'm outside right now. You don't see it? You know, it just
Yeah.
melted a little bit, but.
Oh no, y'all got something coming like Sunday, Monday, I think.
Oh man, it's been crazy over here too. Like if you look at my driveway, right?
Yeah.
It's like I'm right up a hill just to get out the dang drive. Anyway, we ain't gotta go through all that, man. Listen, bro, this has been so freaking inspirational. Like, I like hopping in the chat here and there, but you were ringing bells today, man. You ringing bells. Like, and that synchronicity you had with Hassan on the dang ice, what?
Yeah, man, that's wild. Yeah.
That's crazy. No, like I was in the chat a little too heavy. I ain't gonna lie.
That's all good.
No, like, cause like I'm inspired, man. You're touching on a lot of gems, even with like early, man, like the Zoroastrian connections to like the early Islam, like the early Zoroastrians even goes back to like what they call Aryan, like Persians, or like the real Aryans. You know, it's like it's not it's like Iran. You know, it's like people get a lot of these little details confused, and people can interpret them their own ways. I mean, I think a big thing of what you were touching on today dealt with, you know, in early Christianity, early Islam, even early Judaism. There's people that take these gems from from people that aren't necessarily like the apprehensive messengers, right? Yeah. These are people that are having trouble in their own world to express this truth, and they get it across to people, and then social and political situations create like real issues around it, right? But it doesn't take away from the truth of the situation. Like like the same way people messed up early, you know, Yāsir, Jesus' stuff, and you know, the Prophet Muḥammad, etc., etc. It's like, man, I forgot about the early, like how ʿAlī was so important in that early stuff. Like, and ʿammār ended up becoming like ʿammār, and who was the other dude? There was 4 dudes right around Muhammad's, like the heirs to Muhammad's stuff. Wasn't there like 4 of them?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, they say the 4 rightly guided caliphs. So they say Abū Bakr 1, then ʿammār was 2nd, Uthman is 3rd, then ʿAlī they put in as the 4th one. And so then, you know, but it's a whole nother side. It's like, no. Abū Bakr, ʿammār, and Uthman, they were never ever supposed to be in that position. Never.
Word. Yeah, because you know, and that's something that even the Most High obviously is going to foresee coming. So, like, part of their lesson and part of their message, oftentimes, is preparing these people for the inevitable human nature taking over and messing up the damn situation.
Yep, absolutely.
You know, it's just like it sucks because it's the same way that like the Quran teaches not to like divide. Like, there's not like 2 different Muslims, you know. They're just Muslims, right? It's the same way that Christians should, like, there's 3,000 denominations of Christianity, you know? But there's, in reality, if we're talking about the same thing as one. So that's why, like, it's almost looked down upon throughout history, especially for people that aren't learned, to, like, even discuss these kind of fucking, excuse my language, but to discuss these, like, schisms, you know? Because it's like, you're supposed to focus on the one.
Right. And that's what it's called, the Great Schism. But and I was having this conversation, I think it was yesterday. The Quran, because I was asked, do I think a new book would be revealed? And I'm like, I hope not. I don't want it to be a new revelation of a book that comes. Because with a revelation of a new book comes conflict and conquest for new believers. You know what I mean? And that's a problem. When you understand the Quran, that is really a book of unity. And it's as if the people of the Bible, the Jews know it because they're more Old Testament, but it's like the Bible school don't want going to recognize that, hey, wait a minute. There was a gentleman by the name of Ishmael, Abraham's son, and he had 12 tribes, and these of Mount Paran, and these literally became the Arabs. And now look at these people. That's literally a physical nation to this day. So therefore, since they're predicted and got their origin from our book, and then here comes another book out of that, you're obligated as a student of God, period, to understand what this book is talking about as well. Because you got to understand it's a continuation and it's one. So then when you see something in the Quran that says something like, I could have made y'all all one believing people if I wanted to do that, but no, I made y'all different so y'all can get to know one another, right? So y'all can get to know one another.
Right.
And y'all supposed to compete in the righteousness of God. That's the race y'all supposed to be running. Compete in the righteousness of my beautiful diversity of how I reveal myself to different people. Different, you know what I'm saying? That's what you're supposed to be doing. So when you understand that's in the Quran and the earth has already been, let's just say, discovered every square inch of it, right? There's no need for another book. It's just the interpretation in the unifying force of the books that need to come about.
Just trying to understand the word and the geometry of, the word, exactly. And, that's so deep because, man, you just triggered like so many different thoughts. A lot of it has to do with understanding the word. So like the interpretation is one thing, but what we're trying to look at, like if we're to look at, like in the beginning was the word, and the word was with God and the word was God, right? If we were to look at that as like science, we're looking at how Adam could name everything in existence when he was made, right? Or something like that, right? It's the idea of the Adam Kadmon, the origin one, but it's also like, I look at it like a way of understanding geometry as well. Like if I don't know, it's like the same way sacred geometry, a sound could like trigger a shape.
Yeah.
So it's like understanding the word and understanding like the underlying unseen science of the formation of things, right? Like you're looking at the Sefer Yeseroth and like the books of formation, the books of creation. It's like we're touching on like the same kind of stuff in the Quran. Like for me, I started studying it when I was about 16, 17. And nobody in my family did. I had a coworker that his name was Hassan. Oh, ain't that something? Wow. I was a carpenter. I worked at a spiral stair company, and the carpenter named Hassan is the one who got me super interested in the Quran. Like I told him I bought one. He said, "What?" He got all excited. He's like, "Oh, I want you to." He's like, "Just study one little part and read it." He's like, "Focus on that one little part. Don't get, But over time, even years later than that, I got more like I fell in love with that book way more. Like I'd cry reading certain passages. Like it'll make you feel guilty for not being a good enough person. That's how beautiful some of the poems are.
Yeah, definitely.
It should be like, oh, I ain't doing good enough. Like the Bible don't really do that to me. Like
yeah. No. Yeah, I be telling people the Arabic is an acoustic. It's a sound wave frequency. The verses be rhyming. When you listen to it, you're like, hold on, this dude's spitting bars. What are you talking about?
Yo, it's funny. The first thing Hassan said, sorry to cut you, wisdom, right? The first thing Hassan said too was, you should try to hear it in the original Arabic.
Yeah, I concur. English does the Quran no justice. That's only good for interpretation and understanding.
Right.
And this is what we doing. See, my class, they got a pop quiz homework assignment that I shot them out a couple days ago that's due this Sunday, is to really get inside of that prayer, Fatiha, and really, when you hear the word, what is that word? You know what I mean? So your English mind can know what it is, so you can really come out of English. You're just not reciting the Arabic without English understanding. Now it's time for you to put the English understanding to the Arabic word. So now you can leave the English to a degree, because you always gonna have the English understanding, but you get to leave it once you know what it is and to get into that. So yeah, I think that's 1,000% right. Listen to it.
And let me add, right? like ironically, it's funny, like the Kabbalistic stuff, like the Encyclopedia Godwin's joint and all that, like that kind of Hebrew stuff is what got me more into wanting to know even original Arabic, like even how to say certain phrases or what have you. Like, I can say a few things in each one, but like I'm not I would never claim to be. I'm far from fluent in any of them. But my point is, like, there is a beauty. There's a beauty to the sound of, like, there's a flow to those languages. Like, and I think there is something to the whole idea. What do you think about with Hebrew being more of a fire sounding?
Yeah, I agree. That's why I said for a while, I said Hebrew is more of a light code instruction language. Arabic is a sound wave instruction language. So in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was God, and the Word was God. I showed how, for me, the way I understand that is, that's the one wave that is in existence. Nothing exists but this wave, period. And when it comes, based off its level of frequency, vibration, that determines if it's infrared, that determines if it's radio wave. But the first wave is radio wave. Then when it speeds up, it goes to infrared. You speed it up again, it'll come into TV. Speed it up again, it'll come into our visual spectrum, and then it'll go into gamma and things of that nature, right? Yeah. And so I said, wow, this is it. So to me, the Arabic deals more with the radio wave sound frequency. You got to listen to it. It rhymes and it's like that's why I say I've seen people, and I don't know if this is true, but I seen them say, "Hey, we uploaded the Quran inside of ChatGPT. Then we asked it questions. Could a human being write it?" And it was like 99.999%, like a paternity test, to the negative. No, a human being couldn't have wrote this. You know what I'm saying? When you look at the many layers, the structures, and one of the structures being the sound acoustics of Arabic. Yeah, it's rhyming. Wow, we're like the frequency. If you know what I mean? Like, wait, man, why you just said Kadahead? Like, hold on, bro, you spitting bars. What are we talking about here? And it's telling a story. Oh my God, it's different. You know what I mean? So, but it's your point.
It feels like an own mantra or something.
It is. No, that's what it is. Well, I'm about to reveal something, but that's what it is. And so, but yeah, I agree with you. Hebrew is more, to me, fire light code, and Arabic is more sound wave instructive.
Word. Yo, it's so many gems. Listen, I'm thankful. Listen, man, you know, I'm grateful I came across your desk. I came across your work. You know, for all the years that I've come across your, I mean, I'm talking, you know, we've talked about this, but, you know, I'm just like that. You know what's wild? Like the stuff you're talking about today had me thinking about opening up I have like old notebooks when I was studying the origins of Islam and Stanley Lane Poole's Moors in Spain, and like really diving into the real history and grabbing books out of the libraries and like taking notes at home. And I'm talking, you know, a decade and a half ago. And you know, the stuff you're talking about today, the origins, like that's what I'm talking about, the 4 caliphs and all that. And I'm like, man, like I haven't touched on that info in so long. You started re-triggering all these thoughts of like, you know, the Zoroastrians coming before freaking that. Oh my God. Like,
yeah, I got to go back and get it too, man. Cause you know, all my Moorish books, I had left them when I moved. I left them in, you know, family members, you know, had them over there when I took stuff out of stores, just put them over there. Then it got moldy and mildew. So all my Moorish stuff, all that stuff, Stanley Lane Poole, the Moors in Spain, and the golden age of the Moors, all that, like, and that was shit over a decade ago. You know what I mean? If I go get that where I'm at now, it'd be a total different understanding and appreciation.
Word, like if I was even to touch some of those, like the details in those books would make more sense to me than my 24-year-old self. Yeah. And it's like, it's so wild to think about some of that information. Like you just keep on reminding me. Like you're a great reminder, you know?
I appreciate it, man. You appreciate it. And I definitely appreciate you as well, as you know, man.
You already know. I mean? I'm glad I called in, brother. That's all. You know, one love. Thank you for your time. I'm glad I could tap in. I wanted to put my face to the word. I know I was typing in that chat a little heavy, so I just wanted to show people I was, you know, I'm kind of normal.
Yeah. You know, you welcome anytime. Love it. You know what I mean? And if they don't know, When I get in the Union soldier mode, this my abolitionist, which y'all would call so-called white boy from up north. And don't think that when the time is right, we got what? We got like 6 tracks. We got some stuff in the vault together. When the green light comes, right, we only popping. You know what I'm saying? And so
when God willing, inshallah, we'll get that off. In the meantime, everybody, thank you guys for listening. Thank you for sharing your platform with me, Anpu. I appreciate you, man. Literally, man. It's such a fucking great teacher. Thank you,
I appreciate you, man. Alhamdulillah, bro. Appreciate you, beloved.
One love, man. Let's talk soon.
All right, bro. Yes, indeedy. All right. So yeah, nobody else wanted to come up. It's 2:00, so we'll get out of here on what we gonna leave with. Oh man, y'all, I should show y'all. Listen, man. I got some phenomenal, and I'm not saying this because of me. I promise I'm not. But I'm just telling you some nice, thought-provoking. I'm gonna share a little bit. Let me go get something real quick for y'all. Should I do E-class or should I do Katha? Or I was going to show y'all the 7 heavens of love, right? But I'll deal with this prayer right here. Let me take this off and let me bring this one up. Let me see. Let me see something here. Boop. Imagine a prayer that says, "Indeed, we have gifted you multiply riches. So connect to your woman's ally's throat. Indeed, your hate has been severed. Connect to this woman's throat." The Quran has an undercurrent, a mystical teaching that is heavily entwined with 2 principles that are very, very rich, that is under the surface. That is the unity of man and woman coming into a spiritual power that translates to a physical sovereignty that deals with riches and property and prosperity. And the other thing, more so than the first thing, is the recognition of this beautiful woman ally, a feminine force. You just got to go back and look at the playlist dealing with the woman in the Quran and the way I show it that's in these verses. It's there, right? And so the prayer of prosperity, which I just transcribed last week, right, is talking about you connecting to this woman's throat. Now, what does that mean, right? Years ago, I talked about that relationships have a lot of base physical attraction from what we call the chakra level, from the base chakra, second chakra, the bottom chakra is up because it's about physical attraction in our physical reality, and as it should be. But the way that I'm going to say, I'm going to say we should. Can I say that? I really want to say that. But I don't want to be egotistical. But maybe we need to look at it like this. If we understand that the highest centers is spirituality and your concept of divinity, the spiritual visions that you have, the ultimate unity with God, the spiritual vision, and then you come down to the throat, which is your ability to what? Communicate, which is very important. And again, this is why I gotta say the way you really see this is long distance relationships, where they thrive. The ones that thrive is because they have a real bond. See, when we understand the concept scientifically of quantum entanglement, there is no separation. When I change the spin orientation to this one over here, this thing could be miles away, and its spin orientation is going to change. So as soon as this changed, and it says, okay, you changing, I'm changing, so we can always remain in sync, although they spinning in different directions. But this different direction represents male, female of a different gender, of a different, what we would call gender. Okay, so these opposites attract. You need opposites to attract. So the spin orientation is different. They don't know no distance. Okay, and so when you have a real great relationship, like I heard a brother say, man, if a person don't call, if your person don't call and check in on you, how you doing, so that ain't your person. You went all day not knowing how the well-being of this person is. Like, that's not your person, right? Now, I would say that, hey, listen, when you build from this, let's say long distance, there's some distance that's there, right? And you can be in the same city, but you're just not going to violate certain things in physicality first before you establish. Here's the problem. We don't establish via communication these lofty ideas that we have in divinity to see if we truly united in spirit. We just have conversation about the lower aspects of life and the base attraction, but it's not rooted in divinity. We never brung that down. So as the baby, when we was babies and we had soft spots, it's sort of like, imagine when you take your first breath from being the cutting of the umbilical cord, that's when spirit stamped soul. Because you drew first breath for the first time independent of mommy. At that time, this information, spirit, always been synonymous with air. That spirit rods in and say, boom, comes into the crown. And now the incarnation level happens this way as a descension process. You came from heaven into this physical body. So we are supposed to build in that same order as we work on our return, our resurrection, right, back to the Most High, right? So we're supposed to build in this order, not going uphill, right? We're supposed to build going downhill. It's much faster to go downhill to get the spirit thing. See, we'll save a lot of trouble if we say, you Muslim? No, I'm nothing. What you think about God? I don't. You whatever, you Christian, enough, right? So once you can find your spiritual base, right, then you just put a great level of a filter in when you could qualify or disqualify a person and whatnot. But then even within that, you still have to do some work, right? Because, you know, again, it may not be just because we are the same faith denomination don't mean that it'll work. There's some other things to figure out, all right? So anyway, this prayer of prosperity that I showed has a strong emphasis on connecting with this woman's throat. Get your mind out the gutter, okay? You got to connect with it. But the woman has to know too, well, what is this power in the throat? What is this about? You understand what I'm saying? And so when you understand, when you start to get sick, sometimes you get a sore throat, right? Because of the thyroid and what the thyroid is responsible to do. And how you could really use the throat as a sound frequency, conversation frequency, intentional frequency as a way to heal. I wish, I didn't know I was going to go here, but I got to go back and dig in the archives. I got to see how she's doing too. And so my little buddy, C Money had a, was it hypo at first? Yeah, I think she had a hypothyroid. It was under. So I gave her a blue light visualization to do and to follow my voice and go through this visual, right? Just listen to the sound of my voice and just visualize this. And when she went to the doctor, she went from hypo to hyper. They're like, wait a minute, girl, your thyroid is over. Or it may have been the other way. It was over, then it went hypo, and then we calmed it down. You know what I'm saying? So I forget which order it was because it was years ago. There's a healing component when you understand the inner mysteries of this stuff, just through concentration of your mind. And it comes faster. You ready? It comes faster when you work with polarity, meaning the opposite sex, within a loving frequency. And I ain't talking about boyfriend, girlfriend, although it could be that. I mean, I'm not even talking about that level. I'm just talking about when you understand energy, period. Okay? This is in Quran. It's there. It's in Quran. There's a prayer in Quran that I discovered that is for women to say. How to basically invoke a certain man when you look at the actual prayer, but you won't get it in regular Quran. Okay, you get it through the mysterious teachings. I have to give it the mystic teachings of ʿAlī. That's how you get it. Okay, all right. So we're gonna get up out of here with what we playing today. Oh, we're gonna do Kafir. We're gonna get out of here on Kafir. Let me see what we got loaded up. Yeah, it's real short, 24 seconds. The prayer of success and getting rid of the old hating, sneaking enemies, right? We get rid of them, all right? All right, so we up out of here. See you next time. Hit me up if you need me. You know where I'll be, right there in that Patreon, all right? All right, peace out.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم إنا أعطيناك الكوثر فصل لربك وانحر إن شانئك هو الأبتر